You keep failing your TOEFL speaking section, and no matter what you do, nothing seems to work. Did you know that ETS tells you exactly what you need to do to pass your TOEFL speaking section? The problem is that the way they say it is in a confusing way that doesn't make sense. I call these TOEFL secrets hidden in plain sight. I'm here to help you understand what ETS is telling you to do so that you can pass your speaking section the next time you take the test. Let's take a look. What I'm about to show you comes directly from the TOEFL iBT Test Prep Planner. It's an 8-week plan to prepare for the TOEFL iBT test. Remember, when preparing for your TOEFL iBT, do exactly what the makers of the test, ETS, tell you to do. Chapter 5 is about the speaking section, academic speaking skills. As I go through this document, I'm going to explain to you what ETS means when they say certain things. According to ETS, the speaking section measures your ability to speak English effectively in academic settings, during class as well as outside the classroom. The tasks in this section resemble the real-life situations that students encounter. All right, you may not be passing your TOEFL to qualify to go to a university. You may be passing your TOEFL to get your license to be a pharmacist, a dentist, a nurse, or a teacher, which is what most of my students are. And if that's the case, I understand you don't like to take this, but it is the way it is. So we just have to do what we have to do to get through and never have to take this stupid test again. So let's find out, what is it that ETS requires of you to pass the speaking section? And I'm going to go through that now. During a class, students are expected to respond to questions, participate in academic discussions, summarize what they read and hear, and express their views on topics under discussion. Also, outside the classroom, students participate in casual conversations, express their opinions, and communicate with people in such places as the bookstore, the library, the cafeteria, and the housing office. The speaking section description. In the speaking section, you will be asked to speak on a variety of topics that draw on personal experience, campus-based situations, and academic content. The speaking section is approximately 16 minutes long and includes 4 questions. The first question is called the independent speaking task because it requires you to draw entirely on your own ideas, opinions, and experiences when you respond. The other 3 questions are called integrated speaking tasks because they require you to integrate your English language skills, listening and speaking, or listening, reading, and speaking, just as you must during class and outside the classroom. If you're not familiar with the speaking section, there are 4 question types. The first question is an independent task that will give you a choice. This question asks you to make and defend a personal choice between 2 contrasting behaviors or courses of action. For the integrated tasks, there are 3 question types. Number 2, you'll have to read, listen, and speak. First, you'll have to read a passage that is 75 to 100 words presenting a campus-related issue. You will have 30 seconds to read this article and take notes. Then you're going to listen to a passage that is 60 to 80 seconds long. It'll be 150 to 180 words long. There will be comments on the issue in the reading passage. What this article doesn't tell you is that you will listen to a male and a female discussing the part you just read. One of the students will have an opinion about the topic, and they'll have a reason for their opinion and some details and an example that supports their opinion. They'll give their opinion twice with the reasons, examples, and details. You'll have to take notes of the student who is giving their opinion and the supporting information. The other student is actually irrelevant. We don't have to take any notes of what they say, because we're only going to be talking about the student's opinion and why they hold their opinion. Let's continue. Third, The question asks you to summarize the speaker's opinion within the context of the reading passage. You will have 30 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to respond. What is left out of this article is that there are two styles of this question. In one style, they may ask you to summarize the reading passage and then state the person's opinion and why they hold their opinion. The other style of question simply asks you to summarize the person's opinion and state why they hold their opinion. Now, this is important because this whole test is about following procedures and rules. If the question asks you to summarize the reading part and then state the person's opinion and why they hold their opinion, you have to summarize the reading part and then state the person's opinion and why they hold their opinion. If the question does not ask you to summarize the reading part, don't. It's just that easy. Don't do that. If you've been summarizing the reading when they don't ask you to, that could cause you to get a lower score. I know that there are other tutors that teach different things, but I'm teaching you how to pass the TOEFL the way ETS wants you to do it. So please just do as I instruct. Okay, so there are two styles. Make sure that you follow the styles as you're instructed. Now, if you have difficulty with this, I do give one-on-one classes where we practice in class. And in my classes, you're either doing what you need to do to get that respectable passing score, and I say 27 plus, between 27 and 30 in your speaking, or I teach you how to get a score of 27 plus on your speaking. All of my students pass because I teach you exactly what ETS requires of you, and we practice until you get good at it. All right, let's continue on. Question number 3 is an academic course. The topic will be general or specific. You will have to read a passage that is 75 to 100 words that broadly defines a term, process, or idea from an academic subject. You will then listen to an excerpt from a lecture that is 60 to 90 seconds long. It will have 150 to 220 words. It provides examples and specific information to illustrate the term, process, or idea from the reading passage. The question asks you to combine and convey important information from the reading passage and the lecture excerpt. Your preparation time will be 30 seconds. Your response time will be 60 seconds. All right, what this document fails to tell you is that while you're reading, you're going to have to take notes of the main ideas and either the descriptions or the definitions of the main topics. While you're listening, you must take notes of the main ideas and the examples and details that they give you. When you summarize your response, you're summarizing the listening section and stating how it relates to the reading section. You must state the vocabulary words that they give you in the order they appear in the listening section, and you must clearly state the relationship between the listening and the reading. There are no templates for this. If you've been using templates, I'm going to show you in a little bit here that ETS penalizes you for that. They specifically know that you're using templates and you will not be able to get a passing score by doing so. I do teach you structure and exactly how to take notes and exactly how to use your notes to structure your response the way the graders want you to so that you can get that respectable score. Let me know if you want some help. You can click the link in the description below to ask for classes. Let's get back to how are we going to answer these questions the way ETS wants you to so you can pass this test and get on with your life. Take a look. In question number 4, the academic course, you're going to listen and then speak. You're going to be summarizing the lecture the professor gives you. The listening passage will be 90 to 120 seconds. There will be 230 to 280 words. It's an excerpt from a lecture that explains a term or concept and gives concrete examples to illustrate that term or concept. The question asks you to summarize the lecture and demonstrate an understanding of the relationship between the examples and the overall topic. Your preparation time will be 20 seconds. Your response time is 60 seconds. What this document doesn't say, and what most tutors get wrong, is that all you have to do is listen to the lecture. Some are easy, some have a lot more words and bigger vocabulary words, so they're overwhelming, but you're going to listen for the main topic and write it down. You're going to listen for the examples and the related details that go with the examples and write them down. And then you're going to summarize the lecture by stating what the lecture was about and then stating what each example was, followed by the details that they gave you. Do not put it in your own words. Do not paraphrase. Do not give your opinion. Do not state what you think about the topic. This whole question is asking you, hey, can you take accurate notes? Prove it. Tell me what they said accurately in the order that they said it. They're going to give you vocabulary words. The graders want to hear those vocabulary words that you've been given because that proves that you've taken accurate notes. So it's important that you take proper notes and that you use those notes to structure your response according to the way the graders are listening. And this is the important part. If you're using templates, or if you're paraphrasing what you've heard, or if you're trying to state what you think they mean by things, that's not what they want. You have to give them what they want. And when you do, they give you what you want, that respectable passing score. All right, let's take a look and see what ETS is talking about. Let me give you some more information of what they are expecting of you. Take a look. How speaking responses are scored. The speaking section is scored by a combination of AI scoring and multiple highly trained human raters to offer a complete and accurate picture of your ability to minimize the rater bias that can occur with face-to-face interviews, to ensure consistency and the highest quality. This means that raters listen for various features in your response and assign a single score based on the overall skill you display in your answer. Although scoring criteria vary somewhat depending on the question, the raters generally will be listening for the following features in your answer. Number 1, delivery. How clear and fluid your speech is, including good punctuation, natural pacing, and natural sounding intonation patterns. Number 2, language use. How effectively you use grammar and vocabulary to convey your ideas. Number 3, topic development. How fully you answer the question and how coherently you present your ideas. Good responses generally use all or most of the time allotted, and the relationship between ideas and progression from one idea to the next is clear and easy to follow. Allow me to make this clear. What they're saying is that the graders have rules to score your response. They call it the rubric. And rubric is just a fancy word for rules. You see, when they say that this test doesn't have the biases of the face-to-face test that you have, like in the IELTS, what they mean is that this test has very specific structures and rules that you must follow. And if you follow those rules, you get a high score, even if your English isn't that good. You can make mistakes. You can have an accent. You can say things that aren't exactly right and still get a perfect score. This is a big secret. I know you're struggling putting everything you have into getting a perfect score on this test. And that's the reason why most people fail, trying too hard and not doing what's expected of you. My students found that once they forget about all the trying that they've done before and all the things that they've done that didn't work, and they just listen to what I tell them and follow the steps, step by step, answering these questions the way ETS wants you to is so much easier. Do not use templates. You have to use structure. Use your notes. Oh, there are things that many of my students come up to me with, and it's like they summarize, they give a summary statement after their response. Never give a summary statement. Never, 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 never give a summary statement. If you've been taught that, forget it. Okay? I teach you exactly how to pass, and I'm going to show you right now that all the little things that ETS tells you you should do, these are the things that I teach in my class, but we actually do it while you're practicing. Let me show you. These are the tips from ETS, the people who make the TOEFL iBT. When you practice for the TOEFL iBT speaking section, take 15 to 30 seconds to think about what you're going to say before you speak. Write down a few key words and ideas and plan how you will organize your response. Don't attempt to write down exactly what you're going to say. You will not have time to do so during the test, and raters will be able to detect responses that are read and will give them a lower score. Record your responses and replay them. Evaluate your effort by asking yourself these questions. Did I complete the task? Did I speak clearly? Did I make grammatical errors? Did I use words correctly? Did I organize my ideas clearly and appropriately? Did I use the time effectively? Did I speak too quickly or too slowly? Did I pause too often? Also, ask an English teacher or tutor to evaluate your recordings using the appropriate TOEFL iBT scoring guides from Appendix 3. And here you have it. This is the basic outline for what the graders are doing when they're scoring your response. Let me explain to you what's happening. You see, when the graders are listening to you, they're not giving their opinion of how well they think you speak English. What they're doing is they're clicking yes or no to certain questions. Did you answer the question in English only? Yes or no? Did you answer the question completely? Yes or no? Did you speak clearly? Yes or no? Did you have any long pauses or extra words interjected like or yes or no? And they continue through this list of questions, simply answering yes or no based on your response. This is mechanical. That's why it's fair. It's the only fair speaking test out there. The TOEFL iBT is respected because it's the only true test that is very fair for how you speak. All you have to do is know your rubric and speak to your rubric and take good notes and give the responses the way the graders want you to, and you automatically get that high score. You can have an accent. You can make some mistakes. You can be nervous and still get that respectable passing score. And that's what I do in my class. I teach you exactly what ETS requires of you. I teach you exactly how to control your emotions while you're testing, how to take accurate notes, how to structure those notes so that you can respond the way the graders want you to. They talk about structure and those hints, those tips that they gave you. That's what they're talking about, is that they require specific structure, not templates. Specific structures. And I know the structures for each of the questions. And believe me, there are easy, medium, and hard levels of these questions. And you have to be able to know the structure for each one. And I teach you all of those things in my speaking class. All right, there are some things that I want to show you right now that I've devised on my own because what I like to do is simplify everything. I've got a document. It's a PDF form. You can get it for free. It tells you exactly what you need to do. Well, let me tell you, it tells you what you need to do. It doesn't show you. It has the score charts, okay, of how you're going to score to get that respectable passing score. It has the rubrics simplified. If you go onto the ETS website, if you search for TOEFL speaking rubrics, they're very difficult to understand. They don't really tell you what you need to do. I have created the rubrics so that you know exactly what the graders are looking for so that you can learn to structure your responses the way they want you to respond. That document is free. Let me give you a quick show. So this is the PDF of how to earn a TOEFL iBT speaking score of 27 plus. In this document, I simplify exactly what ETS is looking for in your responses to give you that respectable passing score. I give you great advice that will help you to be calm and know that your responses are good enough to get that respectable score as long as you're following the grader's rules. And as I said earlier, I also provide the TOEFL speaking scoring chart that will help you to know what your TOEFL score is compared to the raw score that they give you, as well as the TOEFL rubrics simplified for each question. It's free. All you have to do is click the link in the description below, get this PDF. And if you would like some help passing your TOEFL, if you'd like personal help, I do Zoom classes where we actually do real, genuine TOEFL iBT practice tests in class. I record you so that you can play it back and practice on your own and get that respectable passing score. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next.